we have really big news on the homestead. This is May, and within like an unexpected half hour, everything changed for us on May 25th. Our house sold, and it means that we have to quickly get out of Indiana and quickly move to our homestead down here in Virginia, and it's going to be a little bit crazy. So while we're still here at the homestead, we've been planning what we're going to do. Like when we first get here, what are our priorities to get things started on our homestead? So the very first priority is getting a washer and dryer installed because we don't have one here. And so Brian has been working on that on this trip, but he keeps having setbacks. I'm not going to talk about his setbacks, but we keep having setbacks, and hopefully he'll get that finished soon after we arrive here for permanent in late June. Anyway, so what's super cool is I have my very first chicken coop on order. A local craftsman is building my chicken coop and also building me a large, well, I guess it's not that big, but it's a pantry for all of my jarred goods that I have in Indiana, or canned goods if you want to call it that. And I need a place to put them, and this house is super, super small, and we don't have a place. So he's going to build that for me too with my chicken coop. So I'm uber excited about that. So I will turn the camera around and show you where I plan to put my chicken coop once we get it. All right, so here is Mason's play yard that we built, and we have to fence him in because he's crazy and he runs like a madman, and so we're fencing him in. And so right here where it has some shade from this enormous white oak tree that we have next to the house, I'm gonna put the chicken coop there and a run for them. I may let them roam. I just don't know how that's gonna work with the predators. Literally this morning we had an adolescent bobcat. Let me pan over so I can show you the driveway, and he just walked right kind of in front of where George's truck there, and stopped for a minute on the driveway, walked up by the mailbox and across the street. I was like, well, okay then. So that's where the chicken coop is going. And so one of the other priorities for us is the absolute crazy overgrownness we have all over both of the properties. And we are convinced now that we ought to get some goats and probably a sheep. So that's going to be super exciting as well. So we are checking out the right side of the barn.
You got 1, 2. You guys can't count for fucking shit.
There's 4.
Oh, so there's 4. There's not 3 stalls?
1, 2, 3, 4. What did I say? I said 4. And
Brian, you're speaking.
Okay, so
You know you get in trouble when you're speaking.
how do we turn... Well, I have an idea. I have an idea. Since that back stall back there is like kind of way back there, we can use these 3 and turn them into 2.
Why don't you just take that wall out, this wall out, and just turn it into 2 big stalls?
We're going to take out the boards that separate that and the boards that separate that.
So there'll be 2 big stalls.
Yeah, but this, or at least this will be the outdoor. That'll be closed off.
So let's see what it's going to take to get these walls out.
Pry bar.
And then we're going to have to support the ceiling, which isn't much.
Well, you could run, see where that logs up here? So you got 2 logs up here? You could always run a angle brace down and an angle brace down. I don't understand why a horse needs a bigger stall than that.
That's just really small. Like, that's really, really small. They could hardly turn around in there. They're both pretty big horses. You can put a
Run a brace over to that log to support it here.
Mm-hmm.
Do one here.
Yeah.
Over to here.
That makes sense.
And then just take the chainsaw. Take all this wire down, but then just take a chainsaw and nick all this off. You're not going to pull these boards. See with the vent?
Yeah.
You're not going to do that. So just cut it out. Take the whole wall out at once. But now this is your hay feeders.
Oh. Okay.
So.
Is there one, do you think, on the... Oh, yeah, there is another
there's
one.
One on every one of them.
Okay.
And see, there's your grain feeders.
Oh, wow, look at those old grain feeders. I have never been in here. So, I didn't know what was in here.
Stay here.
That still feels pretty sturdy.
It is. That's not the wall you have to worry about. Right?
Oh, yeah. What George is talking
So
about
you're
is...
talking about not even modifying them?
Yeah, what we're talking about is...
This wall's bowed down.
Take a two by here on these two, then take a brace down.
So as a side note, I had to stop recording and go to the porch to get bug spray because bugs, there are a lot of bugs out here. That's going to be quite an adjustment because I don't know what it is about my O positive blood that they devour me, and it's really difficult, and I have allergic reactions to a lot of bugs bites. I actually got bit by a spider this trip on my back, and it was very scary. I thought I was going to have to go to the doctor. Luckily today it started going down and not being as painful, so I think I'm good because the closest urgent care is over an hour away. The closest hospital, as you know from a previous video of Brian, it's about 40 minutes away, but I'd rather not to go to the ER for a spider bite. Anyway, back to our discussion about getting the goats and a sheep. I'm going to go switch the view and talk about the pastures. So what I did is planned out some like 5 different pastures for this 65 acre side. So this first view here, that's the road is up there, would include part of this area up here. And then as I walk down the driveway a little bit, going into this area over here. There's already an existing fence line, so we'll just have to make some modifications to the existing fence line. But this is one pasture. It's full of briars, all kinds of wild and crazy stuff. On my right here, where George's old outhouse is, not the George who's our neighbor, but George who used to live in this house and the old cabin in the woods. That was his outhouse. He did not like indoor plumbing, so he liked to sit there, and the old story goes that he always left the door open and waved to the kids in the bus as they got on as he did his morning business, which I think is hilarious. Anyway, so here is another pasture that we're going to make. This is also very full. We'll probably take it down to the wood line and over to the next wood line. So this is kind of a smallish one, but it's very damp because there's a spring. And so I'm going to show you, turning back to my left here, this is a natural spring under this cedar. And it used to, or it's supposed to flow under our driveway, and it goes out into that pasture I just showed you, but it's clogged right now. So Brian has to figure it out. But we're actually going to use this spring to provide water for the animals on this pasture on this side as well as the one across the road. So here's our fire pit area, and so we will have one pasture stop, you know, behind the fire pit back there, and then pick up another pasture over here on the left-hand side. It goes back into the woods a bit. Probably going to take that huge cedar down right here and use that for wood for our new house, or for whatever we want to use it for. But I really can't stand that cedar, and I don't like that cedar either. It's very ugly, and annoying. So this goes way, way back. You can't see it through all the trees, but it goes quite a ways back, so that will be another pasture. There's another view of that one I was just talking about. There is a fence line that's already existing. You can see the end of it right here, and it goes all the way up to the road. So we will definitely use that to not waste money and to not waste time. That tree's gonna come down too. We just need to get in here with the new chainsaw that we still haven't used and get some of this stuff down. Now on my right side, it's quite wooded. And I don't know what we're gonna do. There's a fence line. If you can see through there, there is an existing fence line. So we're gonna try to work with that instead of work against that. There's so much poison ivy on this property, you guys. It's absolutely everywhere. I am very, very allergic, and so is Brian. So that is definitely not a good thing. That's why we really need the goats to get here. Here on this side, there is a spring. You might have seen me talk about it in the video where I said, I don't know what I said, like hunting for treasure or something like that, or it's that spot that's all the way through all of these weeds, and up there, Julie and I and Hank took it. But there is a spring that comes out in the rocks back there, and it's actually quite a good spring. It used to go underneath this road, and then when there used to be cattle on this property, it filled up a trough. Actually, the trough is still there. Can you see it? Filled up that trough, and it just ran over. So down here, what you see down there, that will be a pasture. A lot of openness over there and behind the barn. And then here, where there's a current fence line, we're going to take that front fence line down and then pull it all the way out to here to get all these weeds eaten up by the goats and the sheep. And then way back there, I'm not going to walk up there because Mason's taking a nap and I don't want to be too far from the house, but we'll have a nice, huge open pasture. There's a lot of open field up there. It's just super tall grass. I don't want to go up there. I have no personal protection on me at the moment for wild animals or snakes or whatever. And I really don't know what that big metal thing is, but we've often teased Brian that it's his bunker. He doesn't find it very funny, but we do. Anyway, the barn right there, we're going to also, one of the first things to do is to make stalls for Faith and Max so that we can get Julia, Faith, and Max down here to be living with us. And so overall, I'm super excited. This is all happening now. We're not just talking about it happening. The next month in June is going to be wild and crazy in Indiana. And I'm so excited to get my chicken coop, get my first chickens, get my first eggs. Oh my God. So stay tuned for all of that funness and goodness. And we'll be making some more videos soon. So thank you. Don't forget to like and subscribe and share this with your friends if you think they might be interested. Bye.